Alright, so here's where we left off on our in-class exercise, step 8. Okay, so we've created this wall along the ground floor. Let's continue from there. Okay, so in step 9, we're going to take a look at placing a short wall. So in step 8, we created a wall that went from the ground floor to the second floor. So we used the levels that we've created to create that height. In this step, we're going to create a short wall, a 3-foot wall. Now you know that we haven't created a level at 3 foot, okay, so we're not going to use the level marker that we created in order to give this a height, okay. So what we want to do is let's go to our ground floor, okay, and let me show you where this 3-foot wall is going to be, okay. So if you take a look at my notes here, okay, right there, there's the 3-foot wall right there, okay. So I'm going to zoom up to that area there, okay, and I'm going to create that 3-foot. Now I'm going to use the same exterior stone on metal stud that we created last week. So let's go into our walls command. Alright, and let's choose, and you can see it's already chosen already, exterior stone on metal stud. Okay, so let's choose that wall. Alright, now for this particular wall, we want to use again location line, core center line, so that our line that we are controlling along the wall will be the center of the structural element, which in this case is the metal stud, and we want to do that so that we could line it up with our structural grid. Okay, it's going to start on the ground floor, okay, with a base offset of 0, so it's sitting on the ground. And here's where we're going to make the change. In our previous wall, we said we wanted to go to the second floor, but in this case I want to create a 3-foot high wall. Now again, we don't have a level that's at 3 foot high, so what do? We click unconnected. Alright, and in unconnected we could now, okay, place whatever height we want to give to that wall. So right there now I've placed it at 3 foot high. Okay, so now I can go into my drawing here, and I'm going to start where that grid line intersects the exterior wall. Okay, so we'll come up, okay, and then what I want to do is I want to make sure that I align it to the structural element of this wall right here. Okay, so watch what happens as I bring my wall up right there. Okay, that is the center of the structural element, okay, and that's what I want to align to. So I'll click onto there, I'll go all the way to the exterior of the wall, and there it is. Okay, so now you can see if I go into a 3D view, okay, you could see my 3-foot high wall right there. Okay, now when I go back to my ground floor, you'll notice one thing. You'll notice that this wall, I do not see all the interior elements or the assembly of this wall. Why is it blank? The reason why it's blank is because of what is called a cut line. Anytime you look at a floor plan, okay, it's actually a horizontal cross section running through your 3D model. Now that horizontal cross section is not taken at elevation 0. It's actually taken at elevation 4 feet. Okay, now because this wall was less than 4 feet, that cut plane doesn't actually cut through it. Okay, so you are actually seeing the top of that wall. Okay, if that wall was 4 feet or higher, yes, you would then see the structural elements, the interior of that wall. Because again, because it's lower than 4 feet, in this case it's 3 feet, the cut line does not go through that, and that's why you don't see the insides of that wall. Alright, so there's step 9, adding the 3-foot. Now the next step is we're going to add our curtain wall. Okay, and we're going to place that curtain wall directly above this 3-foot high wall. So we're going to go into our walls command. We'll click onto a curtain wall. Now I'm not going to duplicate this and create our own wall type, just because again we're not going to make any changes. It's just a sheet of glass. It's going to start from my ground floor, and here's the important part. Okay, we got to elevate it up 3 feet, because remember we're placing it directly above that 3-foot high stone wall. Alright, then this is going to go to the second floor. Okay, so you can see the height of that wall is actually 9 feet. Alright, so now I'm going to go in here, and now I'm going to line this up to just the center of that bottom wall. I'm not going to line it up with the grid line. It's just actually centered on that bottom wall. So I'll click there. Now you'll notice it's slightly offset outwards, so that's fine. Okay, and then I'm going to go up here until I find the center, not the there's the center. Okay, so I'll click there, and then I'll come all the way across and finish it up right along that edge. Okay, I'll press escape, and there we go. There's our curtain wall. Now the next step is where I'm going to add a curtain grid so that eventually I could add my mullions to it. Okay, now these curtain grids, you can see the spacing there. It's going to be 4 feet horizontal and 4 feet vertical. Now we want to go into a elevation view in order to see this. So this is my north elevation. So let's go to our north elevation. There it is. Okay, I'm going to put it in my visual style as consistent colors so you'd actually see it. Okay, so there it is. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and add a grid, curtain grid. So here's my curtain grid, and remember, I'm going to do vertical ones first. Go along the horizontal edge and find 4 feet. There's one, there's one, there's one. Now when you get closer to the middle, you'll notice it's going to be harder to find because it's measuring from the opposite side. Okay, so I may have to put some in and then later on fix it. Okay, so this is, I know this one here, that's okay on that side. I'll pick this one here, and I got to change that to 4 feet. Okay, then pick the next one. Don't forget to pick the next one. Okay, change that. Then pick the last one and change that. Okay, so there we go. We've now changed it, and then I'm going to add a curtain grid along the horizontal, along the vertical now. So I'm going to go along the vertical, and again, we're going to go 4 feet from the bottom. Okay, I might zoom up a little bit. There you go. 4 feet, and then find another one up here. Okay, now I don't think that was 4 feet, so I'm going to select it and make a modification. Okay, there are many things in Revit that you sometimes you can't find or you can't locate it exactly. Just put it down, select it, and then reposition. Okay, so now we're going to add mullions. Okay, so here's my mullions here. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, you'll notice there's a 2.5 by 5 inch rectangular one. What I want to do is a 2.5 by 2.5 inch square one. So there you can notice there is no 2.5 by 2.5 inch square one. There's a 1 inch by 1 inch square. Okay, so I'm going to take this one, I'm going to edit, and I'm going to duplicate it. Okay, this one again is called 2.5 by 2.5, and I'll put square there. Okay, so I duplicate it, and now I just have to change this. Okay, so this thickness here is going to be 2.5 inches. Okay, so there we go. Okay, the width of it, you'll notice that half of it is on one side, half of it is on the other. We'll keep that. We'll click OK. We now have a 2.5 by 2.5 square mullion. All right, now let's add it to all the grids. Okay, so click on all grids. There we go. Okay, and we could do the same thing on the what would that be, on the east elevation? No, sorry, that would be the west elevation. Okay, set my visual style. Okay, the consistent color so I can see it. Okay, now remember, this side here is the corner. Okay, this side here is the corner, so let's go curtain grid. We'll start from that side, measure 4. Okay, measure 4. Okay, this one I might not get that one perfect. That's okay. Come back, modify that. Okay, so there we go. Again, let's start from the bottom, go vertical now. Okay, there's 4. There's 4. Oh, perfect. I got it right on. Okay, now I'm going to go to my mullions. I'll use the square ones again. Okay, add it to all grids, and there we go. Okay, so now I'm going to go into my 3D view. There it is. Last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to edit the corner mullion. Okay, so I want to go now and select all the corner mullions. Once I select all the corner mullions, I could now use another kind. Now you'll notice that they have a 5 inch by 5 inch. I want to modify that one. Okay, so I'm going to change that right now. Okay, first of all, I'll delete all the elements. Okay, so there's a 5 inch by 5 inch there. Okay, actually, you know what I'll do? I'm going to undo that. Okay, I should make that first. Okay, so I'm going to go to my mullions. I'm going to choose the 5.5, 5.5 corner. I'm going to edit it. I'm going to duplicate it. Okay, and I'm going to make this a 2.5. Okay, by 2.5 corner. Okay, make that change, click OK, and here's where I gotta make the change. So 2.5 inches, okay, as my thickness for that corner mullion. Okay, now I'll leave the legs at 5 and 5. Those are the lengths of both sides. I'll leave those. I'll click OK, and there's my 2.5 by 2.5. Okay, so now all I have to do now is reselect those mullions. Okay, and now I'm going to make it a 2.5 by 2.5 corner right there. Okay, so there you go. I'll delete the old ones, and there's our 2.5 by 2.5 by 5 inches, okay, corner mullion. Alright, I'll stop here and we'll continue on the next video.